The regular meeting of the St. Joseph County Council, March 13, 2018 is now called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation, which will be given this evening by Councilman Danny O'Brien. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good gracious God, we thank you for our many blessings. We thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening to serve you and the people of St. Joseph County. We ask you to help us remember fondly our friends, family, and loved ones who recently departed, in particular Roska Kansright and Mrs. Boozy. Please help us to value our friends, relatives, family, and colleagues while they're here with us. Give us your guidance to be good stewards of your resources. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman O'Brien. Next are petition, communications, and miscellaneous matters. Mr. Deloyan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move that we reappoint Dennis Heckerman to the Lakeville Economic Development Commission, Jean Reese to the Walkerton Economic Development Commission, Sarah Williams to the North Liberty Economic Development Commission, Greg Ixenbaugh to the St. Joseph County Economic Development Commission, and that we nominate William DeLuca to the St. Joseph County Housing Authority Board of Directors.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other nominations at this time? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Dennis Heckerman is reappointed to the Lakeville Economic Development Commission. Jean Reese is reappointed to the Walkerton Economic Development Commission. Sarah Williams reappointed to the North Liberty Economic Development Commission. Greg Ixenbaugh is reappointed to the St. Joe County Economic Development Commission, and William DeLuca is nominated to the St. Joe County Housing Authority Board of Directors. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the February 13th and the February 27th, 2018 meetings?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes from the February 13th meeting and the February 27th meeting are approved. Report from the county auditor.
No report.
Report from the county commissioners. Stelling.
President Morton, members of council, Andy Castelny, President of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners, offices on the 7th floor of this building. Two brief updates. Number one, we're hoping to release the leaf pickup RFP at our Tuesday meeting, so a week from today. And also, there's a meeting today with PSAP. Auditor Hammond was there, and a few other folks. The gist of that was we met with South Bend, with Mishawaka, to begin looking at different funding sources. As we know, one of the areas that was used to determine how the dispatch center was funded is no longer a viable option. So we're looking at exploring every possible option, maybe not every possible option, but numerous options, going from call volume to dispatch to property values to and a variety of other areas as well. Also the possibility of putting this, making it more of a tax-driven issue to kind of spread things around. Also including things like including some of the townships and other smaller cities and towns who may not be financially supporting the center. So we're hoping to have information in the next 30 to 45 days, and then we'll begin taking a look at that and see how we can more equitably fund the dispatch center. Thank you.
Thank you. Report from any council special committees. Hearing none, next on the agenda, first readings. Clerk, will you please read Bill number 2118?
Ordinance approving the renewal of the human rights ordinance and local agreement. Petition brought to the board and done as.
Bill number 21-18 is assigned to the Human Services Criminal Justice Committee. Next on the agenda are salary amendments. Clerk, will you please read Bill number 18-18?
An ordinance amending ordinance 6017, the same being an ordinance establishing salaries and fixing the numbers employed in St. Joseph County for the year 2018 emergency management. This is combined with number 1718G.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McCahill, committee report, please, on 1818.
Mr. President, comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Petitioner.
He came to
You
the
did.
committee meeting, and I did send him a letter to remind him to be here.
This
Mr.
is-
Antonucci.
This is where he wanted to give some more time to Mr. Lopez, just instead of four more hours a week.
It's what's council's pleasure, since he's not here. It's your call.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to table bill number 1818. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bill number 1818 is tabled. Clerk, will you please read the next bill, bill number 1918?
In order to amending ordinance 6017, the same being an ordinance establishing salaries and fixing the number of employees of St. Joseph County for the year 2018, Department 13 PSAP.
Mr. McCahill, committee report, please, sir.
Mr. President, this comes to council without a recommendation.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, please state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes to address the council.
Good evening. Raymond Schultz, Executive Director of PSAP at 58266 Downey Avenue, Mishawaka. Requesting to rearrange our organizational chart to move the 2 training instructors that we have into 2 operations directors, one for police, one for fire. It's a budget neutral move. The money is already there. We're just reappropriating it up to another spot. You should all have received a handout that was some information that was requested after a committee meeting with job descriptions and some additional job duties commensurate with what I've asked.
Any questions from council for the petitioner? Mr. Krasinski?
Mr. Schultz?
Yes, sir.
Did this go through the operation board and the executive board also?
Yeah, yes, it has.
And they approved it?
Yes, they have. And Commissioner Castelny was going to speak in favor as well.
And you said it's budget neutral?
Yes, sir.
Saving us $25,000 in doing this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Budget positive?
Any other questions from council on 1918? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing on bill number 1918. Does anyone wish to address the council in favor of this bill?
Andy Costelli, President of Board of Commissioners, also 7th floor of this building. I apologize I was late to the committee meeting in which I would have made the comment that this was vetted through the executive board, and we were unanimously in favor of moving forward with this. I think it's also what a great job Ray has done with the dispatch center, with just the fact that the improvements that he's made, the morale has increased, and just the productivity has been increased, and the savings and cost reductions that have happened as well. Just very pleased with the job Ray has done, and looking forward to helping him do an even better job. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of this bill? Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on bill 1918. Do I hear a motion on the bill?
Second.
The motion to pass bill number 1918 was made by Councilman Nolan. It was seconded by Councilman O'Brien. Any further comments from any council member on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Toloyan?
Yes.
Mr. Tanzarek?
Yes.
Mr. McCahill?
Aye.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Let the record show that that bill number 1918 was passed by a vote of 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill, bill number 2018?
An ordinance amending ordinance 6017, the same being an ordinance establishing salaries and fixing the numbers of employees of St. Joseph County for the year 2018, Department 11.
Mr. McCahill, committee report, please.
Mr. President, comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Petitioner?
Mike McGann, St. Joe County Coroner, 4th floor of this building. I'd like to thank everybody for giving it a favorable recommendation. This is for the volunteers. We have reserve deputy coroners that assist us on all the calls, that become state certified, and everything is out of their own pocket. So this is just to reimburse them a little bit when they do make calls with us, to give them so much an hour, per week, whatever week they're going to be on, to assist us.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Hearing none, we'll open the public hearing on bill number 2018. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing at this time. Do we have a motion?
Motion for approval.
Motion to pass bill number 2018 was made by Councilman Cahill. It was seconded by Councilwoman Hess. Any further council discussion on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Deloitte?
Yes.
Mr. Tanzarite?
Yes.
Mr. McCahill?
Aye.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Let the record show that bill number 2018 passed by a vote of 9-0. All financial issues were heard and discussed at our February 27th, 2018 committee meeting. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of any financial issue on tonight's agenda? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to any financial issue on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment at this time. Clerk, will you please read bill number 1718?
Ordinance appropriating and transferring monies for the purposes herein specified for the several departments herein listed of Sjccm County government.
We have a motion on bill number 1718.
President, I move for passage except for letter G, which is tied into the bill 1818, which is approval.
Is there a second? Motion to pass bill number 1718 with the exception of item G, which is made by Councilman O'Brien, seconded by Councilwoman Hess. Any further comments on 1718? Hearing that, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Deloitte?
Yes.
Mr. Tanzarite?
Yes.
Mr. McCahill?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion is amended, carries 9-0.
Thank you. Let the record show that bill number 1718, with the exception of item G, was passed by a vote of 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill? Land use bill number 1-18.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Title 15 Land Use, Chapter 154 Planning and Zoning of the Sjccm County Code is amended. Property is located at 14017 Dragoon Trail, and vacant land west of the adjacent to 14017 Dragoon Trail. From R single-family district to C commercial district. Petitioner Samuel Mercantini.
Mr. Nolan, committee report, please, sir.
Mr. President, bill number 1-18 comes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Angela Smith from the Area Plan Commission with offices located on the 11th floor of this building. The petitioner, Mr. Mercantini, is seeking to rezone the property outlined here in red on the screen. It is not the entire property he owns, it's just the southern 200 feet. It's a property probably familiar to many in the county. It's at the corner of Dragoon and Elm, and now with the realignment of Capitol, it also borders Capitol Avenue. Over the years, it's been a variety of things, most commonly known as the Antique Barn. By many people, it's an old historic barn that's been on the property for a long time. It is completely surrounded by our single-family district, although this is a little deceptive because Capitol Avenue is actually not zoned R residential. It's a public right-of-way. Across Capitol Avenue is a used car dealership, Zone C commercial in the county. This is the image of the existing antique barn. The site plan is not proposing to change anything that's on the site other than to maybe designate some of the parking a little bit more clearly. This comes to you from the Area Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation subject to 3 written commitments. First, that there be no access to Elm Road, which the petitioner, I believe, is already closed off. 2, that the uses shall be limited to primary uses listed in B business, plus auction room, clubs and lodges, convention halls, meeting halls, secondhand stores, and rummage shops. These are all things that would require the C commercial zoning and have been used on the property in the past. And the 3rd being no off-premise signage permitted on the property. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? For the Area Plan Commission? Thank you. Petitioner?
My name is Sam Mercantini, and I live at 12586 Jefferson, Mishawaka. I'm the owner of the property. I'm asking for the rezoning. 50 years or so, the property has been used as a commercial property. And then November 17th of last year, I received a letter from the Zoning and Business Services Administrators telling me that the signs on the building were illegal. And the way to cure that would be to rezone the property. And that's why I'm here today, to rezone the property to make it legal for those signs to remain up. I've asked for a couple of variances. One of the variances is to not pave the parking lot. It's a huge parking lot, and 15 places would be normal for a rezoning of this kind. Due to 15 spaces would be $30,000 to $40,000 from the Yard Asphalt Company, and that would just be prohibitive. And secondly, in a parking lot this big with maybe 50 spaces, to petition off 15 of them with landscaping would also look ridiculous and not be worthwhile. So that's my question. Those are my suggestions, and I'm willing to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from council for the petitioner? Thank you. Hearing none, we'll open public hearing on bill number 1-18. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, public hearing is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
Motion for passage.
Do we have a second? Second. Motion to pass bill number 1-18 was made by Councilman Krasinski. It was seconded by Councilwoman Andright. Any further comments from council on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Ms. Hess? Yes. Mr. Malloy?
Yes.
Mr. Canzarite?
Yes.
Mr. McCahill?
Aye.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Let the record show that bill number 1-18 was passed by a unanimous vote of 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill, bill number 2-18.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Title 15 Land Uses Chapter 1 of 54 Planning and Zoning of the St. Joseph County Code as amended. The property located at southeast corner of Edison Road and Walnut Road from A. Agricultural District 2, M. Manufacturing Industrial District, and granting a special use permit for a ready-mix concrete producing facility. Petitioners Golden Realty LLC.
Mr. Nolan, committee report, please, sir.
Mr. President, bill number 2-18 comes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much. We'll now hear a report from Area Plan.
Good evening, Angela Smith from the Area Plan Commission with offices located on the 11th floor. I'll start by updating the council. The special exception or the special use that was read in the title was not necessary for this project. After finding out more about what the petitioner actually does on this property, they wouldn't need that special use. The ordinance that was heard by the Plan Commission and legally advertised did not include that. So what comes to you this evening is actually an amended ordinance that does not include the special use. So you'll just be voting on the rezoning from A agricultural to M manufacturing. The petitioner owns the property highlighted here in red. It's approximately 20 acres. They are surrounded by M manufacturing on the east and west, GI General Industrial in the town of New Carlisle to the north, and A agricultural to the south. There is nothing currently on the site. It's a tilled field right now. It's an agricultural field that's proposed for the addition of a concrete batch plant. The site plan that you see here is what the petitioner is proposing. As part of the process is what they're going through. They also have agreed to dedicate some land to the county along Edison Road for future road improvements, and some land to the south, an easement to the south for some future improvements as well. The petition comes to you from the Area Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation. Rezoning the site to M manufacturing will correspond with the comprehensive plan and match the existing uses in the surrounding area. God bless you. The site is in an area transitioning to industrial uses. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council for Area Plan? Hearing none, petitioner.
Good evening. My name is Brian McMorrow. I'm with Marsh Consultants, 750 Lincoln Way East here in South Bend. On behalf of Golden Realty, the owner, and also Smith Ready Mix, the contract purchaser, I have Dave and Doug Smith from Smith Ready Mix here as well. They're under contract to purchase these 20 acres and to develop about half of it for their concrete plant. They want to be positioned geographically and competitively to help with the economic growth that's expected in St. Joseph County. We agree with everything that Angela said on behalf of the Area Plan Commission, and we do ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from council for the petitioner? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing on 2-18. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill?
Good evening, Bill Shalio, Economic Development Director for St. Joseph County, offices on the 11th floor. Here in support of this project. This is the first of several projects that we'll announce this year out in New Carlisle. We're excited about this project. We think it's a great fit for the area. We appreciate the opportunity to work with the petitioner on the Edison Road right away, as well as the rail access across the bottom side of the site. So we're excited to see this project move forward. We think it'll be a great complement to the area, and just happy to see Project 1 come out of the gate. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. O'Brien?
Just want to confirm what I think we discussed at the committee meeting, that this is within the tip area out there, correct?
That is correct.
And do not anticipate coming back asking for abatement?
To this point, that's not been part of the discussion. That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Mr. Shalio? Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of this bill? Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on 2-18. Do I hear a motion on the bill?
Pass.
Do I hear a second? Motion to pass bill number 2-18 was made by Councilman Toloyan. It was seconded by Councilman O'Brien. Any further council discussion on 2-18?
Just to get in the record that the special use references.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from any council members this time on 2-18? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Toloy?
Yes.
Mr. Stanzarek?
Yes.
Mr. McHale?
Aye.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess? I'm sorry, I skipped Mr. Luke.
Yes.
My apologies. Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. The record shows that bill number 2-18 was passed as amended by a vote of 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill, bill number 3-18?
Ordinance amending and supplementing Title 15 Land Use, Chapter 154 Planning and Zoning of the St. Joseph County Code as amended. The property located at 10250 McKinley from R Single Family District to C Commercial District. Petitioners Craig and Deborah Anthony.
Mr. Nolan, can we report, please, sir?
Mr. President, bill number 3-18 comes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. We will now hear the report from Area Plan.
Good evening, Angela Smith from the Area Plan Commission with offices located in the 11th floor. The petitioner is seeking to rezone the portion of the property outlined here in red. It's not the entire parcel that they own, it's just the northern half of the parcel. An amended ordinance was given to council that indicates that in the legal description. There's been no change in the title, but this is an amended ordinance that was heard by the Area Plan Commission. On the east, west, and south, it's surrounded by our single family, including the portion of the property owned by the petitioner. To the north, across McKinley, is an auto sales lot that's Zone M manufacturing. And then there's an excavating site a little bit to the west there. The current site has a single-family home with a large accessory structure in the rear. The proposal is to keep the existing single-family home, which you can kind of see behind the fence there, which would be shared between a office and an accessory residential unit, and then a new accessory structure would be built in the rear to accommodate equipment for the contractor yard. There are no, other than the addition of the 40 by 80 shed, there's no changes to the site plan that the petitioners indicated, other than maybe some future paving of the site. This comes to you from the Area Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation. Rezoning a portion of the site to C Commercial District will allow the development of a small commercial business while protecting the residential properties to the south. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council for area plan? Thank you. Petitioner?
Yeah, my name is Craig Anthony. I reside at 10413 Caitlin Court in Osceola, which is roughly about 1,200 feet to the west of where this property is. I actually also own the property off to the east there. That's right next to the area I'm going to zone. The back end of this property's got some large oak trees, kind of a park. Being I own that other property too, I know a lot of the neighbors that walk the dogs, and I'm leaving it all that way. The 40 by 80 building I want to put up will also give me the opportunity that I can store everything inside. I really want to make sure that the place kind of maintains a little park image, and I don't want a lot of stuff around, and that's kind of what I've done with the property next door. This was originally located, this was commercial property from 1991 till about 2006. That house that's in the front had a beauty shop in the back, so it works out real good. I can have a little office in the back, maintain that residence property. It's for a lawn irrigation business. We'll be in business pretty much from the 1st of April until Thanksgiving, Monday through Friday only. I am not putting any signs up. I'm not wanting any retail traffic. I just kind of want to, we'll come out and fix stuff, and then, like I said, come about the fall, we'll end up shutting it down. The paving part is, yes, I probably will in a couple of years as the money comes, want to put in a paved driveway, again, to make it look good. But as one of the other petitioners said, right now, I'm biting off as much as I want to chew all at one point, and we may end up working on that a little bit later. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council for the petitioner? Thank you. Hearing none, we'll open public hearing on bill number 318. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. We'll hear a motion. Motion to pass bill number 318 was made by Councilman Root. It was seconded by Councilman O'Brien. Any further council discussion on 318? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Tanzarite?
Yes.
Mr. McCahill?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Sjccm?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess? Mr. Taloy?
Yes.
Mr. Morton?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Let the record show that bill number 318 was passed by a unanimous vote of 9-0. Bill number 318 has amended. It's passed 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill, bill number 1618?
The resolution of the St. Joseph County Council declaring a portion of St. Joseph County an economic revitalization area pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-1, declaratory resolution. Petitioner Abtrex Industries, Inc.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Committee report, please, sir.
Mr. President, it's bill number 16-18 of the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bill Shalio, Economic Development Director, offices on the 11th floor. Here today before you for a declaratory resolution for Abtrex Industries. Abtrex located at 59640 Market Street on the southwest side, just outside of the city limits of South Bend. Abtrex, business that's been in the community for a number of years, experienced a pretty severe industrial accident back in November. As part of that process, is seeking to rebuild a new facility on its site. They have a multiple building campus, looking to build a new building. The petition before you today starts that process for them. This is the declaratory resolution. They filed paperwork with us, setting some values for what they believe the investment will be. $1.4 million in personal property tax or real property investment and personal property investment of approximately $900,000. Those are the numbers that were originally filed. They're currently working through a process whereby they're working with an insurance adjustment. So as they get the adjustment on the property, those numbers may change. As they work to finalize their building plans, those numbers may change. The final numbers will be presented to you in the form of the final resolution during the confirming resolution process. At this point in time, the way their project scores, it would be 7 years of real property abatement, 5 years of personal property tax abatement. Again, this is a local company, been in business for a number of years on the site. Right now employs about 40 people. They anticipate with this new building project that they would add 20 to 25 jobs. They're also looking as part of this process to develop a welding school, state certified welding school on site. Not only would this provide an opportunity to create an employment base for this company, but would be opened up to the community for other people to apply for this program, and so that they could also then provide welders and welding services to other businesses in the community. I want to clear up a little discrepancy in the packet that I sent out. So I need to explain kind of the process of how this worked. The company originally approached the state of Indiana for some business incentives. Those business incentives, which ultimately were approved, started through a process over a period of time. When the process started with the state incentive packet, the Chamber of Commerce, who was involved in the process early on, had gotten information from the company. The numbers in their letter and the numbers then ultimately in the state letter differ from the numbers being presented to you today. Some of that discrepancy is based when that project when the project was proposed to the state for their programs, the petitioner had expected to be able to keep the building that's on site, so they were anticipating renovating the building, repairing the building, and then bringing in some new equipment. Now, the building has been torn down. It's a new building project, so that's where some of those number discrepancies exist. Another discrepancy that was pointed out that I want to clear up is in the state's letter for the business and jobs incentives. It refers to 60 jobs being created. After a conversation with the IDC, what happened was they took 40 plus 20 and created 60. Well, it's a total of 60 jobs on site. So that's where there's a discrepancy in that number. Much like the county's process, when the state is when you go for your formal application for your incentives from the state, they'll have to provide documentation. So even though there's some discrepancy in the numbers from the state's award for their incentives, what is actually submitted to them is what they will receive incentives on, much like the incentives presented to you. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. John Hauser with the company is here if there's any questions for John and the company.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Mr. Shalio?
Mr. President.
Mr. Deloya?
Bill, when you spoke to the committee meeting 2 weeks ago, you mentioned that the project now sits at 525 points.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Explain what you mean by that and how it's calculated.
So in the county statute for the tax abatement, there's a whole point system for how you score additional years of abatement. An abatement, if it meets the basic requirements, is given 3 years of abatement, and then you can get up to 7 years of additional abatement. So there's a scoring matrix in the statute that calculates points. So right now, based on the petitioner's answers, they score at 525. That gives them 7 years or 4 years of additional abatement, 7 years total real property abatement. When they come back for the confirming, we'll confirm all those numbers. There are some numbers there that, as it relates to the contractors buying local materials, there's a couple other categories that are more confirming resolution appropriate. We'll look at those numbers. That may push them up to an 8th year, or it may keep them at 7 years, depending on who they hire and where they buy their supplies.
Any other questions from council for Mr. Shalio? Thank you. Bishop?
Hello, I'm John Hauser. I'm with Abtrex Industries. I would be willing to answer any questions anybody might have.
Speak up, sir.
My name's John Hauser. I am the purchasing manager at Abtrex.
Can you also state, sure, where your address, where you live?
My personal address?
Yes.
I reside at 1002 South Twickenham Drive here in South Bend.
Do you have any other additional information to present to the council at this time? Any type of synopsis?
Well, as Mr. Shalio outlined, we are in the process of negotiations with the insurance company. So until that is finalized, our owner has basically said we're going to put all final decisions on hold. We have preliminary drawings and plans, but at this time he's not ready to move forward until that's done. Part of our planning involves the abatement process and whether we can go forward with that.
Thank you. Any questions from council for the petitioner at this time? Thank you, sir. We'll now open the public hearing on Bill 1618. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on 1618. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion to pass bill number 1618 was made by Councilman Deloyan. It was seconded by Councilman Nolan. Any further council discussion on this bill? I'm sorry, Mr. O'Brien.
Just make an observation that it's a little out of the ordinary because we don't know the projects for sure going forward yet. So I think it's important that when we get to the point of the compensatory resolution that we revisit, make sure that the numbers add up for the proper level of abatement. Right now the plan sounds solid, but when we get to that point, there's a lot of questions in my mind.
Mr. O'Brien, I'd just like to add to the record that your thoughts are very well taken, because there was discussion between myself and Ms. Hess that we're going to have to meet with Mr. Deloyan before that time comes. I'm sorry, Mr. Shalley. I'm sorry, Mr. Shalley. Yeah, that's, if you want to, that's fine. Meet with Mr. Shalley to do exactly what you're talking about, to make sure that these numbers are going to add up. So I appreciate your comments. Any further comments from anyone? Any other comments from council? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. McHale?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Deloy?
Yes.
Mr. Katanzari?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
The record show that bill number 1618 was passed by a vote of 9-0. Clerk, will you please read the next bill on the unfinished business, bill number 9817?
9817, an ordinance amending ordinance 6017, the same being an ordinance establishing salaries and fixing the numbers of employees of St. Joseph County for the year 2018, Department of Report Commissioner.
Ms. Hess, can you report, please?
Mr. President, bill number 9817 comes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Commissioner?
Good evening, Bill Shalio, Economic Development Director, offices on the 11th floor, and just for the record, I'd love to be tall and skinny, so whatever that would take I don't see that in my future. So, here before you today, asking for funding for an economic development position. I think this is we've had several conversations about this. The position would pay ultimately around $58,000. Total package is $85,000 with all the pieces and benefits. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Council, Mr. O'Brien.
And I apologize if you've already told us this. How do we come up with a $58,000 salary?
I think we started at 85 and worked backwards. So by the time you take out all the pieces and parts, that's the budget range. As we looked at what this position needed to pay as it related to other county positions at this level, that's right in line with the other positions that we're seeking to fill or have filled.
Mr. O'Brien?
So when you say in line with other county positions, what are the other similar or analogous positions?
So I would equate this to the Assistant Director of Area Plan Commission, to some of the county engineering positions, the engineering level positions, some of the health department positions that are at a similar level. So that's what I would equate it to, and really what the market is paying. If we, this is a well under pay versus others in this building that do economic development, City of South Bend people, for a similar type position, but it's in line with what Mishawaka pays and some of the other area communities, so.
Mr. President, for the record, Herb Smith in our office, who's under Scott Smith, he makes the mid-50s.
Thank you. Any other questions? Council for the petitioner? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing on bill number 9817. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of this bill? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on 9817. Do I have a motion? Do I hear a motion on bill number 9817?
We'll make a motion that we deny it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion to deny bill number 9817 was made by Councilman O'Brien and was seconded by Councilman Krasinski. Any further comments from any council member on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Root,
No.
Mr. Krasinski,
No.
you know what, you make the second, did you second the motion to deny it?
So you say
Okay.
no, you're.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So I say yes. Mr. Nolan,
No.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Ms. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Floyd,
Yes. On the motion to
Mr. Catanzaro,
deny.
Mr. McHale,
No.
Mr. Morton.
Yes.
The motion carries. Carries 5-4.
President, I'll make a motion to approve this bill.
Did it? Started making that.
No,
Okay.
Oh, did the motion pass?
Yeah, passed.
Oh, I'm sorry, so my
Yeah, my bad, yeah. So Councilman O'Brien's motion passed 5-4, so that's denied. Yes.
So, right. So, right. The clerk show that bill number 9817 was denied by a vote of 5-4. Next, new business. Next is privilege of the floor. Limited to 3 minutes on anything not on tonight's agenda. Next is motion. I'm sorry, Mr. O'Brien.
And so, in the context of privilege of the floor, I'd just like to make an observation concerning within St. Joseph County, the amount of land that's within the TIF, within TIFs. It's an issue that's near and dear to my heart. I've complained about for a while. And I asked Mr. Sjccm to give me some data, which he did very promptly. I just want to share with the council that within St. Joseph County's boundaries, which includes the land in the city of South Bend, Mishawaka as well, we have nearly 25,000 acres of land within TIFs. And my understanding from reviewing various South Bend Tribune articles is that we lead the state that the largest county, we are the county with the largest percentage of our land in TIFs. Concern that I have as a public because it's just a flip. It's a concern that I have as each of the taxing units is running out of money, which seems to be running out of money, other than the TIFs, which seem to have lots of resources, or at least something. Just wanted to share that bit of information for the general public as well as my colleagues on the council.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to make a comment. Do note it, I don't know for a fact that it's large, but if we large, the money or largest area of this in the county, but I thought it just, but, there's a caveat that we also have, yes, thousands of acres, that I've recently come to
That's a fair point. I appreciate Mr. pointing that out.
Any other comments? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wait a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.